there were good times and bad times on the submarines. Some of the patrols were quite hectic. I was on a Super T class submarine called Turpin during the Cold War. I had a period jump because one of the radio operators had gone sick. And we went down the boat on a Monday morning not knowing where we were going. And there's sophisticated camera on the attack periscope, and they're fitting strongbacks up underneath the escape hatches, because if we're depth charged, they're the weakest part of the pressure holder blow. So we've got an idea. We then find out that we're going up around the Russian coast to do a bit of spying. 5 weeks into the patrol, we were depth charged unmercifully by a Russian ship. All the lights went out. You could hear a trickle of water coming in. We went deep into what we call silent running, where we switch everything off. We don't even speak. If you drop a spoon, they can pick you up on the surface. And we stayed there for 10 hours, just waiting. But thank God, we got away. And the next time we surfaced in international waters, the captain said, if anybody asks you what happened on this patrol, tell them we came up underneath the Norwegian merchant ship. Now, on the lighter side, of course, there was a few ditties in the submarine service. This one carried throughout the service. On the surface, submarines are what we call roll-on wet grass boats. As soon as it starts to get choppy, away they start to go. Submarine in the North Atlantic one night, on the surface, blowing a force 8, captain, officer, watch and look out upon the bridge, and the captain calls down the voice pipe for his steward to make him a mug of kai. Now, a mug of kai in the Navy is a mug of hot cocoa. So he makes it outside the wardroom at the sink and commences to walk 2 lots of ladders. Well, you can imagine. But when he gets onto the bridge, he's still got a full mug of hot cocoa. And the captain's looking down, he says, steward, on a terrible night like tonight, please tell me how you can get from the control room up onto the bridge and still have a full mug of hot cocoa. Steward bowed his head. He said, well, Captain, if you really want to know, when I start off at the bottom, I take a big mouthful, and when I get to the top, I spit it all back in again. Yeah, of course, that was a true story on board submarines. There was lots of little ditties and lots of funny little things happening, but that's the one that sort of reminds me. The other one was, I was on a submarine called Narwhal, one of the Porpoise class submarines, and we're in New London, Connecticut, in the Northwest Submarine Base, having a rest period. And we go to sea, and the sonar operator picks up the QE2 coming over to New York, so the captain decides we're going to do a dummy attack on the QE2. Now, my job at attack stations in those days was on the attack periscope behind the captain, reading ranges and bearings. Well, it started off at many, many thousands of yards away. Down periscope, he's waiting. Up periscope, the bearing is that, the range is that. I said 749 yards. Down periscope, go deep. And as we're going down, so the QE2 comes over the top. As it came over the top, my mate, who was on the chart table helping out the navigator, came over to me on the periscope, and he banged me in the ribs and he said, do you think they got better conditions than what we have, Terry?